Longwood Mansion is an architectural wonder. A rare example of the Oriental Revival style in the South, Longwood is the largest octagonal home in the United States and is also the only unfinished antebellum home in existence. You wouldn't know it by driving the streets of Natchez today, but the city was once extremely wealthy. In 1850, over half of the millionaires residing in the United States called Natchez home. This fact blew my mind. Some 600 homes in Natchez are listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and according to the 1860 census, Natchez had more millionaires per capita than anywhere in the United States. More than New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., or even San Francisco just 5 years after the gold rush. Building Longwood Holler Nutt was a wealthy plantation owner in the antebellum South. Son of Dr. Rush Nutt, an agricultural genius and citizen of the now ghost town of Rodney, MS, Holler set out to build a spectacular show home of magnificence and opulence that was second to none. In other words, Holler Nutt and his wife Julia were supremely wealthy, and they wanted everyone to know it. At the apex of his wealth in 1860, Nutt owned over 40,000 acres of land, 800 slaves, and had a total estimated net worth of $3 million. Adjusting for inflation, that would be worth nearly $100 million in 2019. Nutt sought out noted Philadelphia architect Samuel Sloan to build his dream home. In 1859, Sloan accepted the commission and began designing the mansion with strict instructions to make it the biggest and most beautiful home you've ever designed. The task took Sloan several months, but he did as he was asked and designed Longwood to contain 6 stories, 32 rooms, 26 fireplaces, 24 closets, 13 stairways, 115 doors, 125 windows, 120 columns, smoking room, billiards room, nurseries, banquet halls, a sunroom, a solarium and observatory, and so much more to equal a stunning 30,000 square feet of luxury. To put things in perspective a bit more, after all was said and done, the massive mansion required over 1 million total bricks. Interesting fact, Samuel Sloan was also the architect for several other now haunted places in the South. Those include Dunleith in Natchez, the Jemison Van de Graaff Mansion, and Bryce Hospital in Tuscaloosa, Winter Place in Montgomery, and many insane asylums. Construction began in 1860 as Sloan sent contractors from Philadelphia to direct the work of the paid employees and slaves. War rhetoric was on the tips of everyone's tongues, but Nutt believed war would never happen. A staunch Unionist, he disagreed with secession and thought that if there were war, it would be a quick affair and business would return to normal. Due to this belief, he continued construction on Longwood. Also built on the property were a detached kitchen, a carriage house, and a 3-story brick building known as the Servants' Quarters. A more appropriate name would be the Slaves' Quarters. The Slaves' Quarters house as many as 32 slaves who would work in the Nutt home as maids, nannies, and cooks. The exterior construction had just completed when Mississippi seceded from the Union. Upon the news, Northern workers rushed off the site in an effort to quickly make it home. Tools were strewn about the mansion, and in fact, weren't moved for years. With no workers remaining, Nutt had slaves complete construction of Longwood's basement. That way, the Nutt family would have a place to stay while they rode out the war. Various building materials scattered through the mansion. As a Northern sympathizer, Nutt was awarded papers to protect his properties from the ravages of war. They made little difference. While Longwood was spared, several of Nutt's other plantations, fields, and stores were burned and plundered by North and South alike. All totaled, it is estimated that Nutt lost over 1/3 of his wealth. After the war, suit was filed against the United States government on behalf of the Nutt family. The Nutts won and were awarded $180,000.